I have been skateboarding on and off for a couple years now, but I only ever cruised around my village and never really tried any tricks. So seeing as I had just finished my GCSEs, I thought what better time to properly learn to skateboard than during the summer holidays. So I tasked myself with the challenge of trying to go on my skateboard every single day no matter what. And whilst this may not sound like much, skateboarding is all about practice, and every little helps. Learning tricks is probably the one thing that makes or breaks skateboarding, because it takes time. When I was learning to ollie, it was incredibly demotivating. I would try for days and days on end, doing the exact same thing over and over again, seeing no results, which is quite literally the definition of insanity. But one day, it just clicked. And that feeling of landing an ollie for the first time ever after months and months of trying was the best feeling ever. And that's what motivated me to keep going after being so close to quitting. But it didn't stop there. The second I landed it, I tried it again and again and again. And then I practiced it moving. Now, the way I learned to ollie is by first practicing it on grass, then concrete, then moving on concrete into grass, then just moving on concrete. This is not the best way to learn tricks. As I've now learned, you should always try and learn tricks moving. However, the reason I did this was because I didn't want to fall, and all I had to do was learn to accept the fact that getting injured is a part of skateboarding, and that if you aren't falling, you aren't trying hard enough. Every time I'm about to have a skate session, I will always prop up my phone and film myself in slow motion and watch the footage back over and over again to see where I'm going wrong and how I can improve. This is really useful if you don't have anyone to skate with, and of course you can always learn tricks alone and have a great time doing it, but it's even better when you're doing it with someone by your side, cheering you on and teaching you, or just learning with you. But you can't practice tricks without a place to skate, and all I really need is a little bit of flat concrete. Luckily for me, this means I can skate anywhere I go, so I always bring my skateboard with me when I go somewhere so that I can keep practicing. And most of those places have been holiday parks, and whilst one of them had the most smoothest roads I had ever seen that were perfect for skating, the other was all gravel, which at first was a disaster, but with a little bit of exploring, I found some perfect skate spots where I even landed my first ever moving ollie. But there are spots for skating, and then there are skate spots. I'm talking stair sets, ledges, banks, the classic skate spots. It is my dream to finally be good enough at skating one day to ollie up on a rail and grind down to the bottom of a stair set, or even just ollie down a 3-stair. And thankfully for me, there is a skate spot with a few of those things very close to my house, which I can't wait to be able to skate on. But for now, I have to stick to the flat ground areas. Everywhere I go, I see everyday objects that would be perfect for skating, but all I can do is practice flat ground tricks next to them until I'm good enough to actually skate on them. And that's what motivates me to keep trying. The thought that one day I will be able to board slide across that ledge, or ollie down that 2-stair. All I need to do is practice. If you have enough skill, the type of board you have doesn't matter. But in my personal experience, it most definitely did. I got my first ever skateboard when I was around 10 years old, back when I had zero knowledge of any good skateboards, so I got given this one. And it was fine for learning how to balance and stand on the board, but that's about it. It barely rolled a couple centimeters before stopping, so I thought that was that. Skateboarding is not for me. It's too frustrating. That was until about 4 years later when I was shopping for camping supplies with my parents in Decathlon, and I got distracted and found myself in the skateboard and scooter section. They had a little area of flat ground to test out the products, and when I stepped on the skateboard and it rolled like smooth butter, I instantly fell in love. And at a price of £40, how could I not take up that offer? This board served me well for quite a long time, despite it not being the best for doing tricks. It's what I primarily use to learn to properly skate and what I practice my tricks on. The only problem was, I could never land any of the tricks. So that's when I knew after 2 years it was time to get a new board. But this time I wanted a proper board. None of that £40 shit. So I went to my local skate shop with a couple friends and picked out each individual part of the board and built it in the town square. It cost me around £180 and it was worth every single penny. Instantly I felt the increase in quality and it made a huge difference in my skating. I thought my old board rolled well, but this was a whole new level. And it could just be a coincidence, but the first time I ever landed an ollie was on my new board. Now, that doesn't mean you need a proper board to land tricks, but it definitely helps. But the only way you learn to land those tricks is by someone teaching you. And thankfully for beginners like me, there are thousands of tutorials on YouTube. These are incredibly helpful if you have no idea what to do for a trick, but once you've watched one, you've basically watched them all, and the only thing left to do is try it out for yourself. However, another thing that YouTube is good for is finding inspiration. YouTube is the best place to see amazing skaters do tricks that were first thought impossible. You can look through generations of skating history all in one place. But the main thing I watch for inspiration to skate is skate vlogs. Being able to see people live their everyday lives while skating around different towns and countries, completing tricks that I could one day do, and all I have to do is get out there and practice, how could you not be inspired by that? But videos aren't the only way to look at skate content. Although an outdated media form, magazines are still a great way to find out about the latest news and products. You never get that same feel of flipping through pages upon pages of new skate content as you do just watching a video on YouTube, and I will always love physical media more than a simple YouTube video. Skaters are some of the nicest people you will ever meet. And what better place to meet skaters than the skate park? I am lucky enough to have a skate park in my village, and not only that, but one that is very community based. You could go to a skate park not knowing anyone and leave knowing everyone there. There is such a wide range of people you'll meet. One minute you could be talking to a 30-year-old who has been skating their whole life, and the next you're talking to someone who first stepped on a skateboard that day. Every time I go down there, I end up learning something I never thought I'd be able to do before. At first, I was nervous being a beginner going to the skate park, where everyone is really good, but most people are really accepting of beginners, and one even let me hold on to them while dropping in for the first time to make me feel more confident. Depending on what kind of person you are, the clothing you wear can either be the most important thing or least important thing you worry about. But I go by a motto that I've learned from other skaters: look good, feel good, skate good. And it's true. If I'm wearing an outfit that I feel confident in, then I will tend to feel more confident when practicing tricks and just skating around town. But everyone has their go-to outfits that they can always rely on, and these are mine. First up, for cold weather, I have some black jeans, an oversized t-shirt, a black cap, a chain, and a check jacket. Then, for in-between weather, I have some cargo trousers, an oversized sweatshirt, a black beanie, and a chain. And finally, for hot weather, I have baggy blue jeans, a white t-shirt, a patterned overshirt, and a blue cap. But if it's really hot, then I'll swap the jeans out for these green shorts. And obviously this isn't the only thing I wear. I usually swap out my white tee for a coloured graphic one, if I'm feeling extra adventurous. But the real question is, what am I wearing on my feet? Any shoe can be a skate shoe, but if it has a flat sole and tough material, you will have a much better time. I'm sure you've all heard of the classic brands like Vans and Converse, but there are hundreds of skate shoe brands out there, and honestly, it's just personal preference. Every skate shoe is unique, and as long as it meets the criteria I mentioned before, it doesn't really matter what you skate in. But these are the shoes I mainly skate in. I chose them because Vans are a trusted brand that a lot of people wear, even though they don't skate. But I also wanted to be unique. However, the one thing with skateboarding is that your shoes will get destroyed. Now, personally, my shoes only have one hole so far because I've only been practicing ollies, but I am fully prepared for when I start learning more advanced tricks and I have to go out and buy another pair of shoes entirely. But honestly, that excites me because it means I'll be able to discover and try out more unknown skate shoes, and each new pair I buy will be another milestone of the progress that I've made. That's my skating journey so far. And who knows, maybe in a year I'll make one of those videos about my progression, or I will have broken my neck trying to do a kickflip.